Hi, and welcome back to Ask the Hood. I don't know if you ever experienced this, but there are certain movies that don't actually change. Your story do. I've watched Good Will Hunting 5 times. The script never changed, Matt Damon never changed, Robin Williams never changed, and the first few times I thought it was about intelligence. Then I thought it was about trauma. Then about friendship. Then I thought it was about healing. But the fourth and fifth times, I only saw one person. Not because he looked like Will, not because he acted exactly like him. I still can't explain it, but I just know that every frame reminded me of him. And somehow, the movie became him. And that's what I want to talk about today. The fourth time I watched it, I was on a flight to Vietnam. We had only been talking for about 2 weeks. Everything was still new, exciting, lighting. You know that stage where you barely know someone, but your brain starts collecting tiny similar stuff? Every sentence reminds you of them, every song somehow becomes about them, and every movie suddenly feels like it was written specifically for your situation. The kind of beginning where you're still discovering each other sentence by sentence, and where every conversation feels like you're discovering another room inside a person. There were a moment in the movie where I would smile because I would think, God, he would love this scene. Or, this sounds like something he would say. It's funny how love or whatever lives just before love start borrowing things. Songs become theirs, cities become theirs, coffee shops become theirs, and apparently, movies do too. I remember sitting on that airplane thinking, why do this movie keep making me think of him? Nothing specific, no single scene, no line, just him. I remember watching Will, brilliant, funny, gentle when nobody was looking, terrified. So I texted him when the movies end and I told him, I don't know why, but this whole movie reminds me of you. And honestly, I couldn't even explain what I meant. It wasn't an accusation. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't me saying, you're exactly like this character. It was more like my intuition had noticed something before my brain had. Back then, watching Good Will Hunting felt hopeful. It felt like watching two people learn that they deserve something better than the stories they would been telling themselves. I finished the movie believing people could choose each other. When I watched it on the plane, that thought made me hopeful. I remember thinking, no, love can work through this. If two people care enough, they will figure it out. Maybe that's why the movie felt beautiful. It felt like there was still time. Then life happened. Or maybe fear happened. Sometimes those are the same thing. People leave, conversations stop, phones become quieter. And last time I watched Good Will Hunting again, for the fifth time. Only this time we weren't talking anymore. And suddenly, the movie wasn't hopeful anymore. It hurt. Not because the movie changed, because now I knew exactly what it had been trying to tell me all along. It's funny how heartbreak edits a film without changing a single frame. There's this idea throughout the film that Will keeps running whenever something real asks of him. Not because he doesn't care, because caring is terrifying. When you've spent enough time protecting yourself, love doesn't feel safe. It feels dangerous. Because the moment someone matters, they gain the power to leave, so you leave first. You convince yourself you're protecting both people when maybe you're just protecting your fear. I caught myself looking at Will and thinking, I wonder if that's what it felt like inside of his head. I wonder if fear can really be louder than love. I wonder how many people genuinely care about each other and still don't end up together. And how many people spend their whole lives believing they need to heal alone. How many people mistake isolation for growth, and how many relationships never get the chance to become beautiful because someone believes that they have to become perfect first. I was looking at the distance between two people who wanted different things at the same time. There's a line in the movie that has always stayed with me. It's not your fault. Again and again and again until Will finally breaks. Most people hear that line and think it's about childhood trauma. But last night, I heard something else. I realized how many people spend their whole lives believing they have to earn love, believing that if someone gets close enough, they will eventually discover something that's too broken to stay for. So they leave first. Not because they don't love, but because they don't know what to do when someone actually does. I thought about how many things in life aren't anyone's fault. Sometimes people care about each other and it still doesn't work. Sometimes timing loses to fear, and sometimes love loses to redness. Sometimes someone walks away not because you weren't enough, but they couldn't carry what love asked of them. That doesn't automatically make either person the villain. And somehow, that's harder to accept because villains are easy. Reality really is. Maybe that's the strange thing about life. We can both watch the exact same movie and walk away believing it says something completely different. When I watched it, I saw proof that people deserve someone who stays, someone patient enough to sit beside them while they untangle themselves, someone who says, "You don't have to earn love first." But maybe if he watched it, he saw confirmation that he needed to leave before he hurt someone, that he couldn't let anyone in until he becomes someone he was proud of. Neither interpretations make someone a villain. They're just different ways of surviving. And one thing this movie taught me is that loving someone isn't the same as believing you can save them. And I don't think I want to save him. I think I just wanted him to know he didn't have to carry everything alone. There's a difference. One says, "I will fix you." The other says, "You don't have to disappear while you're healing." And sometimes we confuse those two. Sometimes the person on the other side confuses them too. Maybe that's what happened. Okay, let's go back to the movie. Everyone was talking about the famous line, "It's not your fault," the one that I was talking about earlier. And yes, it's one of the most powerful moments in cinema.
Look at me, son. It's not your fault. I know. It's not your fault. I know. No, you don't. It's not your fault. I know. It's not your fault. All right? It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Don't fuck with me. It's not your fault. Don't fuck with me, all right? Don't fuck with me, Sean. Not you. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
And maybe that's because it's one of those rare moments where someone is finally allowed to stop carrying something alone. But the scene that always stays with me is much quieter. It's the way Will keeps pushing away the people who genuinely care. And when Will spends so much of the movie believing leaving is easier than staying, believing if he leaves first, he can't be left. Not because he doesn't love them or he doesn't care, but because caring is dangerous. If you leave first, you never have to experience being left. If nobody gets close enough, nobody gets close enough to hurt you. How many of us do that? Fear becomes protection. Protection becomes loneliness. And loneliness starts looking like independence. Sometimes we don't lose people because there wasn't love. Sometimes we lose them because fear speaks louder than love. and fear is incredibly convincing. The movie never says healing is easy, but it does ask an uncomfortable questions. How long can fear disguise itself as a freedom? Because sometimes we tell ourselves, I'm choosing myself, when what really mean is, I'm choosing the only thing I know how to control. I don't think everyone who wants to be alone is running away. Sometimes solitude is necessary. Sometimes it's healthy. Sometimes it's exactly what saves you. But I also think we have started romanticizing healing as if it can only happen in isolation. As if love can exist on opposite sides of the room. As if relationships pause your process instead of revealing parts of yourself you would have never met alone. Some wounds only appear when someone gets close enough to touch them. Believe me, I'm saying this from experience. And because of that, some wounds can only heal when someone stays. Not all of them, but some. Because accepting love means risking losing it. That scene hurt differently now. Because I've met someone who, in his own way, seemed to believe the same thing. Okay, let me tell you about my favorite relationships in the movie. My favorite relationships in the film has always been Sean and Will. Sean never tries to fix Will. He simply understands him. He sees through every defense, every sarcastic joke, every excuse, every reason Will gives for pushing people away. And somehow, he stays. That made me think about him too. Because I wondered if that's what love really is. Not finding someone perfect, but finding someone patient enough to understand the parts of you that aren't. Then there is Skylar. I don't think I appreciate her enough the first few times. Sorry, Skylar. She doesn't ask Will to become someone else. She simply asks him to let her in. And every time he gets close, he runs. Not because he doesn't care, but because caring is terrifying again. When you've convinced yourself everyone eventually leaves. That hit me differently this time. Because sometimes people don't leave because they stopped loving you. Sometimes they leave because they don't know how to believe they're safe enough to stay. But for me, Skylar, she's the bravest person in the movie. Imagine loving someone who convinced they have to carry everything alone. Imagine standing at the door saying, I don't need you to be perfect, I just need you to let me in. And watching them choose loneliness over the possibilities of disappointment. And how heartbreaking is it to realize that sometimes people don't reject you. They reject the version of themselves they think you will eventually see. And one thing that always stayed with me is this. Will keep saying he doesn't care, that he can leave, that none of that matters, but every decision he makes is controlled by fear. It's funny how convincing people can be when they're lying to themselves. Some people don't run because they don't love you. They run because loving you is required, believing they are worthy of being loved back. And that's much harder. Watching the movie this time made me ask myself something I wish I didn't have to ask. How many people lose good love because healing feels harder than leaving? How many relationships don't end because there wasn't love, but because there wasn't enough trust in themselves to receive it? I don't know. Maybe that's why this movie hurts so much. Because it's not about romance, it's about self-worth. And self-worth decides who we are capable of loving. I kept thinking about him, about all the conversations we had, about all the moments that made me think, maybe this person just needs time. Maybe if I loved harder, maybe if I was more patient, maybe if I understood him better, maybe if I fight for this more. But Good Will Hunting reminded me of something painful. You can't heal someone into choosing you. You can't understand every wound. You can't hold space for every fear. You can love them with every soft part of your heart, but you cannot walk through the door they are refusing to open. Only they can do that. And maybe this is the hardest lesson I've had to learn. Sometimes people don't leave because they weren't enough. Sometimes they leave because staying would ask them to become something they're not ready to be. That doesn't make it hurt less, but it changed the question. Instead of asking why I was not enough, you start asking, what was he still fighting inside himself? Okay, we're gonna go back to the movie again. There's a scene near the end where Sean tells Will,
Because you'll have bad times, but that'll always wake you up to the good stuff you weren't paying attention to.
I never really thought about that line before. This time, it broke me. Because I realized that this person gave me some incredibly beautiful memories. Watching movies and series became one of them, by the way. Now every time I watch Good Will Hunting, he's somehow sitting beside me. Not physically, just in my head. Laughing at a scene, explaining a line, telling me what he thinks, even though he's not there anymore. And that's the strange thing about people. Sometimes they don't just become part of your life. They become part of your favorite books, your playlist, your cafes, your cities, your flights, your traditions, your comfort movies. They leave fingerprints on things that had absolutely nothing to do with them. And suddenly, you can't separate the art from the memory. I realized something while watching it this time. I wasn't just sad about the movie. I was sad about the version of me who watched it on that plane. The girl who still believed she would get to recommend scenes to someone. The girl who thought she would eventually watch it a sixth time beside him. Isn't that what heartbreak really is? Not just losing someone, but losing all the little future your minds quietly built around them. The conversations, the traditions, the films you would watch together, the places you would revisit, the ordinary Tuesday that never got the chance to exist. Maybe that's why art hurts differently every time. Books don't change. Music doesn't change. Movies don't change. We do. Every version of ourselves walks into the same story looking for something different. And sometimes we're looking for hope. Sometimes we're looking for proof we weren't crazy. Sometimes we're just looking for the version of ourselves we left behind. I don't think movies appear in our lives by accident. I know I sound crazy. I think sometimes they become mirrors. The first time they reflect who we have been, the next time they reflect who we are becoming, and sometimes they reflect someone we have lost. That's why I think Good Will Hunting will always be one of those films I return to. Not because it gives me answers, because every version of me seems to find a different question inside it. And I don't think I will ever watch Good Will Hunting the same way again. Not because of the movie, because every version of me leaves a fingerprint on it. Maybe next year I will watch it again. Maybe I will notice something completely different. Maybe I will finally stop seeing him in Will. Or maybe I will see myself. Because that's what art does. It waits patiently until you lived enough life to understand what it was trying to tell you all along. Okay, you know the question I was asking myself when I watched it for the fourth time on the plane? Why this movie reminded me of him? I had the answer last night. It reminded me of him, not in a bad way, by the way. Actually, is one of the most beautiful ways. Because underneath all of Will's walls was someone incredibly kind, someone loyal, someone capable of loving so deeply that it scared him, someone who didn't know what to do when someone finally stayed. And I realized the way both of them carried so much without announcing it, the way they were so capable of caring while also believing they had to carry everything alone. Every conversation Will had, every moment where he laughed instead of answering, Every time someone tried to get close to him, I kept seeing pieces of this person I just met. Okay, maybe you've watched a movie that became a completely different story because of one person. Maybe there is a song you can't listen to anymore. Been there, done that. Maybe there is a book that now carries someone else's fingerprints. I would love to know what yours is. Because maybe stories don't stay the same. Maybe they quietly collect the people we've loved. And maybe that's why we keep going back. Thank you for spending a little time with me today. This was Ask the Hood. وأنا ريما. Until next time, take care of your heart. It remembers stories long before your mind understands them. And sometimes, we're not revisiting the movie. We are revisiting the version of ourselves who first pressed play. I will see you in the next episode. Salam.